Ella. I don't know if it's going to be. Let's see. Hello. Oh, there I am. Did you take Miss Acklehart or did you take Mr. Easley, Ella? Rosie. Nice, CT. Here comes Ace. Good afternoon, Maggie. Sadie Baker, what up? We got a student assistant in the house. That's awesome. So questions I have for you guys. So I was talking to Caleb and Trevor Church and Kaylee this morning, and I asked them what they thought about that. Okay. Oh. I asked them about the reference sheet, what they thought about it, and all three of them were like, well, what? I hadn't looked at it yet. So let me just say, for all of you, look at that sheet. Just to let you know, chemistry was unexpected. What does that mean? Unexpected. What does that mean? Very difficult with timing. Okay, so tell us more, Harry.
Is she too loud?
She's okay out there. Okay. Just stay with. I'm on with my kids right now. Right. Well, I got the unexpected part. But what do you mean about very difficult with timing? So what do we need to know about? So hopefully most of you guys have had an AP exam by the time. Good afternoon, Xander. Hopefully you guys have had an AP exam by the time you have taken mine. So that's good to not be number one this year. So I want all of the, so the first question had 12 parts. Okay. But was the time? Yes, so good. So Ella, good girl. The thing that I posted, I found that on my AP Facebook page. Somebody had just posted it, and in my opinion, it is so fantastic. Move on. Okay. Yes. So, okay, if you have time, right? Get back to it. Yes. So, and that's one of the things that we were talking about as a Facebook group is, do you instruct your kids to skip and go on and then come back? And my answer is yes. If I were you, I would move on and come back if you had time. The reference sheet, if you have not read it, I really need you to read that. And I really need you to read that like today, tomorrow, Sunday, Monday. Yes, that day. I would get up and read it. I would, in that 30 minutes where you're waiting. So let's talk about that 30 minutes when you're waiting. So they ask you to log on 30 minutes beforehand to just get everybody in there. So be sure you give yourselves that 30-minute time. Don't plan on showing up at 3 o'clock and being like, boom, I'm here. It's not good. So with this reference sheet, things that I want to point out to you, why am I doing this? I do it every time. And then I want to turn the laptop, like, God bless y'all. I want to turn the laptop to my other screen and be like, and then you see here, that's very terrible. We have this ability. So check this out. And again, I don't know who this fella is, but he just freely put it out there, and I was like, I will say thank you and move on with my life. So, the first FRQ is going to be your experimental design FRQ, and I want you to look at the hypothesis part. We talked about in the earliest of days, do you have to establish your if-then hypothesis? And the answer is no, but you do have to establish a hypothesis. So, if you write it in the if-then format, then you are probably going to have, at least on the most foundational of levels, a hypothesis. So with this one is going into some examples which I like. Increasing, decreasing, the independent variable will increase or decrease the dependent variable. So what they're saying is, it's the samey. What I do, right, that's the independent variable. So I'm going to do this, and then that is going to increase or decrease. That's the dependent variable. So their example is forests with higher levels of human disturbance will have lower primary productivity. So you're identifying right out of the gate independent, dependent variable. And the cool thing about AP tests are, and we asked Mrs. Wheeler, and so I'm assuming it's still going to be the same. With things like AP Chem, AP Bio, if you, I need to put your all's chat over here, my apologies. If you guys state the answer in another part, a lot of times they'll go back and give you points for that. So I don't want you to skip parts, being like, well, I answered that in part A, so I'm just going to skip part C. Like, please don't do that. Please try to answer all the parts, but your reader may actually go back and give you points. So, welcome, Trevor Church. Very good. Oh, I got to turn myself off. Okay. So, with the hypothesis, that's, first thing out of the gate you're going to be asked to do. Jeez Louise. So many buttons. We've just talked about what your independent dependent variable was. Remember, dry mix. Now, I don't think you're going to have to draw a chart. I think you're going to have to interpret a chart or a graph. So, hopefully that's going to be a good thing. But you need to be able to identify what's the independent, what's the dependent variable based on what are you doing, what's being done, and then what's being measured. Independent, what's being done. Dependent, what's the result, what's happening. So your design needs 3 groups. So you got your one control. I feel like everybody understands what a control group is, right? Like, it's the group, we're not doing anything to it all. And then your 2 experimental groups. So if it's temperature, one I'm going to make it 10 degrees Celsius, the other I'm going to make it 20 degrees Celsius. If it's light, 4 candescent, 8 candescent, right? So, and you want to be sure, if you have the opportunity, to talk about your knowledge of, you understand sample size is important. The bigger the sample size, the better the outcome. You understand the more times that you do the experiment, the more valid the results. So embedded within those things, you're conveying to that reader, I got you, boo. Description of the changing of the independent variable between the groups. That's just exactly what I said. 4 candescent, 8 candescent. If you want, for those of you that are the hunters and gatherers of all things that you can have out at your disposal, you may want to put out an International System of Unit, or SI unit, for everything, right? Like, there's a chart that gives you like what the SI units of everything are, just in case you wanted to have that just as a little feather in your cap. Specific description of measuring of the dependent variable. So there again, specific description. So if I'm going to do the light, for example, you're going to talk about, I'm going to leave the light on for 4 hours, direct, or at a 40-degree angle, or direct, or at a 80-degree angle. Like you really want to tell them, like, I'm going to do this. You don't want to be like, hey, I'm going to get some grubs, I'm going to throw them in this pot, and I'm going to take this flashlight right here, and then when I get bored, I'm going to put it on the strobe, because, I might get a seizure, and then I'm going to take it off the strobe, and then I'm going to watch them some more. Like, no bueno, right? Tell them what you're going to do. Set it up. And then be sure your control is controlled. Pull a little Janet Jackson right there. Experimental design, 4 points. Use the infographic to answer experimental design portion of the FRQ. Since this is the easiest portion, you should start with it. Be sure that you earn all your points here. You may be given a question or a topic to write a hypothesis about, and then picking out your independent, dependent variable like we just did. Okay, so explain environmental concepts. This is going to earn you another 2 or 3 points. So we had some conversations about kids that haven't taken AP Environmental Science should not score very well overall with this format because they're going to be lacking in those environmental concepts that you guys should be rock solid with at this point. So after the experimental design portion, you'll probably be asked to explain some concept behind the experiment because there's no easy describe or identify points here. You need to go in depth into your answer. So remember, like we talked about, I think it was Luke that was talking about Mr. Easley, and he always does the ice cream example, how when you're describing your ice cream. I am Hateful Henrietta, so I always use the example of a hot guy or a hot girl. So when you think about you're explaining, what is this person, like why do you love this person? Like why are you so obsessed? You go in, like, and then the next thing you know, 40 minutes has passed, and you're still talking about how cool this person is. You definitely don't want to let 40 minutes pass, but you definitely want to be clipping off some information there, minimum of 3 sentences. Focus on the step-by-step answer, key facts, focus on cause and effect, explain why or how the event process has caused an outcome. So, like with the water situation, our lake situation, the hotter water gets, the warmer water gets, the less dissolved oxygen it can hold. So that was one of those correlations that they were looking for some of you guys to come up with, was because the temperature was rising, there was less dissolved oxygen, and therefore there would be less biotic beings there, right? And then I was watching a video and they were talking about, once you hit that perfect amount of organisms, and if everything is perfect, then too many organisms reaches a tipping point and they start creating too much carbon dioxide. They have too much, right? Too much of those bodily reactions, too much urine, too much feces, all of those things, right? So if you're seeing that decrease, you could talk about, why is this happening? How is this happening? Those are the kinds of conversations that we have had that somebody that's just trying to take this test hasn't had. So hopefully that will help you. You may also be asked to justify a solution. So I want to caution you here. They're talking about, be sure to go in depth for any advantage or disadvantage you offer to a practice or a solution to a specific answer. State specifically why or how a disadvantage has harmful effects. State specifically why or how an advantage avoids the harmful effects. So I just remember who you're writing for, right? Remember your audience. So I feel like we may have some of the best BSers on the planet. Doesn't mean you got to believe it. You just got to write it. So a great debater, a very knowledgeable person, should be able to argue either side of an argument, right? So I want to caution you away from, if you're asked to propose or justify, I want to caution you not to say things like, you know, genocide, kill them all. Um, there's no such thing as global warming. I swear it will be so bad if you write that. It's okay that you believe that. Don't write that. Just give them what they want, and be knowledgeable enough to move on with it. So that's, yeah. All right. So that's my FRQ reference sheet for FRQ number 1. I'm not seeing any questions. SI units, question mark, Kaylee Payne. SI units, International System of Units. If you just Google search SI units, that's what all scientists use, SI units. Okay. Anybody have anything else about FRQ number 1? Okay. I'm going to go on to FRQ number 2 then, analyze environmental problems. Luke, if you get COVID-19, I'm going to have to buy you a Wendy's burger. I just keep going back to all those conversations, but I'm like, look, it's not going to be COVID-19 because that's in the Section 9. And I'm thinking, oh, because Miss Aglehart was just telling me that they put something in there about pilgrimages, and pilgrimages were supposed to be left out. And I thought, oh, Luke will just die. I will just, please don't explode, Luke. It's going to be okay. So, there you're going to be faced with an environmental problem. I am guessing, this is a guess, but I'm guessing it's going to come from Unit 5. Let me double check myself. Yeah. So, I'm guessing, which, I mean, there's only 17 standards in Unit 5, but I'm guessing FRQ is going to come from Unit 5. Land and water use. That's where I'm guessing it's. I think that's where. Well, I think that's where the basis is going to come from. You've got Unit 6 in your back pocket with all the renewable, non-renewable that you can pull out, but except for that gave the. Our practice was water. Okay, so you're going to be asked to explain environmental problems in a step-by-step answer. Focus on the why or the how the problem occurs or exists. So, oh gosh, let me stop right here. They are going to be checking if you copy and paste something out of Google and put it in your document, they're going to like fine you or whatever. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Type it, write it. Please do not. There's please do not. Like there are all these memes that are coming out, and I can't figure out how to connect my Facebook with my Google Classroom, but like 17 memes are like, show these dumb kids that are copying and pasting straight off the internet, and they're like, all these net sweepers are catching them and failing them. So please don't do that. They're giving you the internet, but that doesn't mean that you copy and paste off of it. Okay. What unit is the first one from? Oh, design and experiment. Well, I mean, for us, it was chapter 1. But I don't think the experimental design is necessarily a unit. I think it's all units. I think you are asked to go over experimental design the entire time you're alive. Yeah, I don't think that you're going to find that in a unit. I just did what I always do and made some nice sounding beats. Well, of course you did. UBS is normally accurate, so it's not dumb. Yes, that's also true. Okay, so where does the problem start? What environmental process or concept causes it? So pause. Now, again, if you did what I told you to do, which is print this out, I would be writing on one sheet of paper. Um, so focus on the why or the how the problem occurs. Remember, prevention always costs more in the beginning than fixing it. What word am I missing? Prevention. Oh, God, we had a slogan, y'all. It just fell out of my head. But anyway, prevention is always better. Like when you're in this, I want you to know, and I want you to know that if you can prevent the problem, it's going to cost way less than just trying to fix the problem as it keeps happening, keeps happening, keeps happening. So that would be something that I would want to try to do if I were given the opportunity, is to talk about, I know prevention costs more up front, but it's so much better in the long run for the environment because the continuous cost of having to keep up it's just a continual drain that never ends on our economy, our society. I feel like biogeochemical cycles are going to be right there. Like, I am just telling you that, like, it's so easy to slip carbon cycle in somewhere, right? Water cycle. Like, I feel like you could probably slide that guy in there and be like, look at here, look what I got. And what environmental process or concept causes it? Air is out or air is in? Let me see. Okay, so aquatic and terrestrial pollution is out, air is in. So you're not going to get anything about aquatic or terrestrial, earth, pollutions, right? So thermal pollution is out. Persistent organic pollutants, the POPs, they're out. Bioaccumulation, biomagnification, out. Solid waste disposal, out. Treatment sewage, out. Waste reduction methods, out. So, but that doesn't mean that you can't throw some of that stuff in and be like, look at what all I know. If it's applicable. So you may have photochemical smog. That's going to be, like an easy one to go to. Thermal inversion, atmospheric CO2 and particulates. Remember the difference between, there's acid rain, noise pollution, air pollutants. There's a really good chance a lot of you guys are going to get some air pollution ones. And we did a whole chapter on air pollution. So please go back and review that. So usually 3 parts to earn, usually 3 key parts to earn explain points. So that's just where Mr. Easley comes up with that stuff, right? Is as a reader, you're looking for those 3 parts. So I love that this person gave us an example, explain how melting sea ice leads to feedback loop. And did they put in albedo? They did. Look at that. Man, if you guys get an albedo question, I'll be so pumped. Melting sea ice leads to more open water, which has lower albedo than ice and absorbs more of the sun's energy, warming the water. And increased water temperature melts ice further, creating a positive feedback loop. And like, if you really wanted to take your time, I'm going to explain this in 3 parts. And then you could put 1, 2, 3, right? It's not about the flowery BS. It's about I'm going to hit you with 3 parts right here. 1, 2, 3. Moving. Let's see, I'm at the bottom. Okay, propose and justify. So, the trip that so many kids make because it's the easiest is you're going to just ban it, or you're just going to outlaw it. You're just going to make a law. Please don't do that. In the same breath, please don't write something stupid like aliens are going to come and pick the lollipops. And hey, Logan. And so you want to be specific, ensure the solution directly addresses the problem, explain how the solution addresses the problem. So you're going to say, this solution is going to reduce or avoid because, you guys, if you have one Achilles heel, is that you all wanted to drop it right there at my feet instead of telling me how Think about how many FRQs I handed back to you and I wrote how, finish the how. When you write that sentence, ask yourself or hear that angelic voice in your head say how, and then put that in there. Be specific about government-based solutions, do tax, do rebate, do law, PSA, education. Be very careful. You're not, just be very careful with that, guys. So a tax, you want to be sure that you are talking about who you're taxing. Be sure that you're talking about, you understand. I mean, I would throw out there, if I was going to do cap and trade. Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say, Kaylee. I would absolutely say, a great example of that we are already using that could apply to this situation would be cap and trade. Those kinds of things. When you just say, I'm just going to tax the life out of them, that's not good. Like if you propose something along, yes, perfect. You want to, the educate always gets them. You got to remember who's reading your FRQs, guys. It's teachers. So teachers love to teach. So you want to, I always want to roll to educate. I always want to stay away from make a law and ban it. Now, I think what this person is talking about is point back to a law that already exists instead of create a new law. But if you do create a law, you want to be sure in your law that it's a law that encourages reduction. It's a law that encourages a better land use or better air quality, right? So their example, discuss a specific action state or federal government, maybe that should be our federal government could take or encourage to further improve visibility in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. So, and this kind of fell into that FRQ that you guys took about you could pass a law for stronger vehicle emission standards, which require car makers to decrease the amount of air pollutants. Let me pause right there and say, so we had this big debate when we were grading about our little Miss Wheeler said that automobile emissions were not a local, or did she say they were a local? At any rate, she was talking about the kids that we were reading said that it was a state level decision. In all actuality, it's a federal. And I think the real truth of the matter is I think it's actually both. I think that we have, but I think it's more of a federal, right? The federal government determines, like the car that you drive in Kentucky, you're welcome to drive across the border into Indiana or Tennessee or Illinois. So because that kid wrote that he wanted to make a state law reducing automobile emissions, she did not give him the point because she said you can't do that. So those are kind of the things that I want to really caution you on. If you're going to start talking about laws or making a law, you're not just given like, I'm going to make a law. Like it has to be a law that makes sense, or they're not going to give you the points. Because all of our automobiles, I think, are federally mandated. And then maybe California goes even further than that. I'm going to say that deforestation, Kaylee asks, okay, so when you say terrestrial, does that include anything with the earth, so like deforestation, anything that falls under agricultural or littering? So I like to look better at, I'm going to say littering is oh no. So littering is going to be a source of pollution. No. Now, deforestation could fall under with renewable energy, right? So renewable, non-renewable. Agriculture, let's see. I'm going to say agriculture could still be there. Let's look at 5. Yeah, land and water use. Agriculture, yes. Littering, I'm going to say no. Yeah. So be careful when you're making laws. So federal government could pass a law for stronger vehicle emission standards, which would require car makers to decrease the amount of air pollutants, such as nitrogen dioxide cars would be reduced. Since NO2 is a precursor to photochemical smog, reducing NO2 emissions would reduce smog and improve park visibility. Good. I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool if you had like little traveling stations so you could park people could come to the park, and then you had almost like a tram system or a trolley system that was running off of what they would consider is a renewable energy resource, right? So like you could have solar cars that run up and down the mountain and transport people. So, you restrict car travel over the mountain and say, we will take you from point A to point B. Now, unless you're talking about just interstate travel, and then at that point, that's a whole different thing. But in my head, I was thinking about like people that visit the mountains and they want to stop and they want to take pictures and they're just going there to visit. Well, you don't drive up there anymore. You drive here and we'll take you in our little solar bubble or whatever. Our little donkeys. Let's see. All right. So, with this, analyzing the problem, you're going to get 2 points. 2 to 4. You will be presented with a short passage that's going to explain the problem. It's probably going to illustrate the problem. You may, at this point, be asked to read a chart or a graph. Go and look back at, I can't remember what chapter we did it in. Go and look at correlated data, right? So is it a positive trend? Is it a negative trend? Is there a correlation there? Can't remember which chapter that was. Always reference specific data points. The fish population declined from 12,000 individuals to 2,000 individuals from 1995 to 2000. Perfect. I love that this person put this in. You all you got so much better. But I remember in the very beginning, I don't know if you guys remember that. I was like, how did the population change? And you were like, decrease. Okay. Don't say that. And then, no, you're not going to do math. And then there was one after I like totally annihilated you all, for not being specific enough. You were like, 1995, increase. 1996, mild decrease. 1997, little bit increase. And I was just crying because you're like, no real words were being used still, but you went through every year and you were like, kind of, sort of, squiggly line, upwards, mild, downwardness. Oh, God. So be sure you're given those numbers, those parameters, and you can do it. Let's see. So that's not really doing math, Kaylee. Like, I missed a Xander comment. You retracted it. You're welcome. You're welcome. Listen, we're all in this together. So, on the diagram, refer to the processes, the effects, the steps. Show exactly as they are in the diagram. Pay attention to the direction of the arrows, labels for processes, parts of the diagram. Be sure you're reading very carefully. This teacher is telling you to read twice before you answer. So some of you guys are never going to do that, so it's okay. Be sure that you are explaining a problem directly from the prompt and within the correct frame. Don't go off on that tangent, right? So you answer must always be step by step, have 3 parts, be at least 2 to 3 sentences. And then you will also be asked to propose and justify a solution to an environmental problem. I'm talking about the finding percentages to know the specific formulas. No, you're not going to have to do that. But you may have to subtract. Okay. So your solution needs to specifically address the problem. They really go a little bananas with this. So you really have to tell them how. You cannot just say, I'm gonna up that temperature. What's that gonna do? What's that gonna do? Right? I'm gonna increase the temperature by 5 degrees Celsius, and I'm gonna measure reproductive rates for 5 years. I don't know. Specific, right? Um, realistic. This is the other thing. And it's unfortunate because a lot of the times things that you guys think are realistic are not. I think the best case in point that I've been thinking about here recently is when we're talking about reopening schools and what does that look like? Taking everyone's temperature every day. What does that look like? Is that feasible? Like, how long ago was it when we were talking about you guys going through metal detectors? Because the scariest thing in schools were you bringing a gun and shooting us. Now, the scariest thing is you guys coming in and, oh my God, oh my gosh, you guys will not be able to kiss because you'll have those masks on. Oh, yes. Oh God, what if there's all these slits in the middle? Oh no. Oh, I'm gonna have to get it. I'm gonna get it. Oh, blah. So, it has to be realistic, right? So you can't put in there something like, I'm gonna check every garbage can for recyclable materials. It's not possible. You just don't have that kind of manpower. One of the things that I know that we have talked about, I think in every class, I forget, is kids always fall back to having inmates go into landfills and help with the recycling situation. Okay, it's not an option. Don't say that. We're gonna medically test on inmates. Don't say that. It's not gonna happen. For a couple of reasons, but for one is this audience that you're writing to. This audience is very left leaning, and they don't like that kind of talk. So I get it, Cohen, that you do, but don't do that. So it's not realistic to test on. It's not realistic to test on people that aren't signing up of their own volition. Like you can't say, I'll cut time off your sentence if you promise to let me poke you with needles. So remember that for government-based solutions, you should never include bans, raising and lowering taxes, prices for goods or services. The government can make laws. They can increase taxes on unwanted actions. They can offer tax breaks or rebates for wanted actions. Remember, subsidies, right? That's viable. Provide funding for public education campaigns. That would be your public service announcements. I know, Xander. Do you remember? Like, oh God, that was so bad. I thought y'all were gonna make that little girl cry. Okay. Oh wait, quick and easy reference sheet. Right? Well, I can't. Okay. So 4 major concepts and definitions for each unit. Familiarize yourself with it beforehand if you want to use it during the exam. Control F to quickly search for phrases and topics. If you want to use your textbook stickies, I would prep it ahead of time with large labeled stickies marking sections of the book for each unit, maybe even binder clips for specific page ranges. So here's the thing that you need to understand. And that's what I was talking about with the fearsome threesome this morning. If you don't go into this with prepped material, you're sunk. And if anybody is friends with Caleb Tidwell, or you guys are in 4th block and you guys have a 4th block group, I don't know. But he made a notebook and then he put tabs on the top, like an easy quick guide. And then we were laughing because he didn't really need it on the test because taken so much time to prepare that it was in good shape. But if you don't do that, you thinking you're going to look all this up in that small window of time that you have. And again, I think those of you that have taken the test now recognize how much little time you have. So this guy has gone through, and he has so that his students could print out where to stick their tabbies. So, like, the ecosystems are page 161 to 165. The carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, water cycles are pages 65 to 63. That's what he has done. And then he's telling them to clip them out. I'm not doing that as of right now. Like, I don't know how much crazier I'm going to get, but I feel like there just comes a point when you just have to set up and say, I'm going to do this, Skimmy. But that's what this is that you're looking at. I think it would be well worth your time to go through in our book and change these numbers and do this for yourself. And again, you're not going to have time to read, right, and learn. Like, you have to already know what primary productivity is. You already have to know the difference between primary and secondary as far as, is there soil present or not? You know what I'm trying to say? Generalist versus specialist. K versus R selected species. This is survivorship curves. These are all things. The tragedy of the commons. Lord, please give them Tragedy of the Commons. Y'all remember how much work we did on the Tragedy of the Commons? It would be so cool if you guys had that. That'd be awesome. So that's what this is. And that's what I would do. I would take, I can see right now, oh gosh, Jenna. Probably Jenna Waltrip. Maybe Hannah Bayman. I'm trying to think of my most artistic girls. I know I'm going to leave somebody out. But, you do different color Post-it note for different concepts. Be worth your time, guys. It would be worth your time. Search this master vocab list to find it. And I haven't seen... Let me see. Let me open this up on... Is there anything connected to this for you all? I don't think there is. Yeah, I don't think there's a master vocab list connected to this. I may have to go on Facebook and see if he has a master vocab list. But again, nothing helps you if you don't know what the words mean. So that's where the rubber's going to meet the road for you guys. But when I found this, I thought, yes, this is exactly what my kids need. And it's a cool Facebook group. Like, they really do. Like, I've contributed nothing to it. I'm like, yeah, hi, this is my second year teaching it. I'll take all your stuff, thank you. So I thanked this fella, like, gleefully and said I'd already posted it to my class. So this is what I do. Okay, let me get back to your all's comments. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to tell you is tomorrow's going to be our parade from 11 to 12. I am going to go, I think I'm going to go and record myself outside and be like, here's where you're going to drive, and then here's where you're going to drive, and then here's where you're going to drive, and I'm going to take you in Spring Bank, and you're going to go past the road that I live on, and you're going to come up the hill. You're going to come up the block so that you're going to be facing out. Because I live, if you're entering Spring Bank, my house is on the left-hand side of the road. So I want to be able to give you guys your tokens of affection on my side of the street. And if it's raining, Chad is so funny. I've bought a glider on the Facebook, and we're going to go to Madisonville tonight and pick it up. And my in-laws say they have a tent, like one of those like tents that everybody has at all those cross-country races. But I was just going to go get the Heritage cross-country tent. But rain, snow, sleet, hail, nothing's going to keep me from sitting out there in my chairs tomorrow to see you guys. And I'm going to be sitting out there. and you're going to be able to pull up, and we're going to be able to, spend some time together. So I bought enough things so that if every single one of you drive to my house, every single one of you is going to get a little thing or two little things. And besides, look at me dead in the face and hear me say, you can do this, don't suck. That's the idea behind this. So I hope I don't get in trouble. I'm not asking anybody if I can do this. I'm just doing it. You guys are my kids, and I'm doing it. So I'm going to be sitting out there from 11 to 12. You can text me or email me or whatever. If that's not a good time for you, I'll be willing to, run out there and throw some stuff at you. Later in the day, probably not earlier in the day because I ain't like that. But I feel like 11 to 12. I'd love to see you guys. And I don't know, I just feel like we need to connect. Before you guys go into battle, I just feel like we need to connect one more time and see you. So I bought things for you. I'm bribing you to come see me. My address, and I'm going to put it on, Google Classroom, is 4119 Hunting Creek Drive. But I'm going to just post a video on. Here's how you get here, and here's what the front of my house looks like. So it's maybe the dumbest thing I've ever done. Chad keeps going, you going to do what? That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. So, I'm just looking at it as we miss teacher appreciation, and, you guys are just going to shower me with appreciation this Saturday. If you can't come, please don't feel bad. Don't think I'm going to hate you forever because your mom refuses to drive you past my house. That's okay. Right? Exactly, Xander. And F them. Like, here's the thing. I just keep waiting for the Lord to be like, you need to move on, Skimehorn. So maybe this is it. If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. So I'm gonna take the bull by the horn, and I'm gonna set out in my front yard, probably under a tent while it rains. Oh God, y'all, they're gonna be like, what is she doing out there in the rain? But I'm gonna be sitting out in the rain. So 11 to 12 tomorrow. You don't have to come at 11. You can, 11 to 12. And I'm going to have a little token for you. If you can't make it, don't worry about it. Please print these out. Please post these all over your house. Please read through these multiple times. This is literally a guide to get you through the structural part of your FRQs. And then all you got to do is fill in the knowledge. I would have these dudes written out 1,000,000 times. I would have these dudes written out. So I think because you are subscribed, when I post my videos to here's how you get to my house, I think you'll know, but I'm just going to walk around the neighborhood, and I feel like I'm going to post like 3 or 4 little videos to be like, and then you turn here. And I'm looking hot today. I need everybody to recognize, Skim is the hot today. No makeup, headband. I mean, this knot on the top of my head is a special height today. So I don't know when I'm going to do my video. I may go take a bath first. Hard to say. But I love you guys. I hope you all did well on your AP Human Geography. Like I said, Miss Englehart asked me, and I was like, why are you asking me? I don't want to scare you, but AP Environmental is harder than AP Human Geography. It just is. So, I hope it has encouraged you to work hard, and I hope that you didn't look at that and say, well, that went okay, so AP Environmental is going to go as well. People typically don't do better on AP Environmental than they do AP Human Geography. So, sorry. You're going to do great, though. You're going to do awesome. So, we will have, let's go ahead and say right now, I'm so sorry too, by the way, I did not expect to have to go to a meeting at the health park. Health park is opening June 1st. It's going to be a little different. You're going to have to log in your time, and you're going to get tags, and there's only going to be so many people allowed in there at a time. But group exercise classes won't begin until we get into level 2, which is like phase 5. I don't even know, guys. I'm betting I don't have a group fitness class until July 1. But Yeah. So, but that's what I had a whole big meeting this morning at 11, and I didn't know until I didn't know, and then it was too late to know. So thanks. Let's plan right now on meeting Tuesday at 11. What do you guys want to do? Do you want to do Tuesday at 11, or do you want to do Monday night at like 6 after the test? I'm on a delay. Nope, still nothing. Nobody cares. Let's go ahead then, and those of you that want to, that have taken the test and want one more like debrief, whatever, um, let's go ahead and plan on Tuesday at 11 then. Monday, okay, Kaylee's in. You want to do like Monday at 6? Okay with either. I know usually the day of, there's all of that, like, that you want to, like, talk to other people that have experienced this. Okay. So, Kaylee, since you're the only one that's voted, we'll do Monday at 6 after your test. So, your test is at 3. It'll be over at 4. Do you guys want to do 5? Monday at 5? Is that better? Monday at 5? Is that dinner time? I don't know. I eat late. Okay, we'll do Monday at 5. I'm going to write that down. We'll do Monday at 5. So I'm going to, hopefully I'm going to physically see you tomorrow at my house. So I'm going to do Saturday at 11 to 12. Unless you can't make it then. At the health park. Skimmy, is the pool open on June 1st? Yes, the pool is open. You have to get a tag. They're only going to let you stay in there for an hour at a time. But if you get, there's going to be 5 people allowed at a time in the big pool. And you can do it unlimited. What if you do both? Oh, we can do both. You want to do Monday 5 and then Tuesday at 11 for anybody? I don't care. I mean, I'm just, humble servant at your beck and call, right? It's the mom status. So I'm going to write down for sure Monday at 5 for debrief. And then Tuesday at 11. And again, yes. I know, right? And if you, like I said, if you want to stop by at another time and you want to, you want your little gift, then, and but you can't be from 11 to 12, but you still want me to run out and say hi, right? Thank you. I'll take seconds. I'll be happy to just give me a call or email me or whatever and say, could you run out real quick at 4 o'clock? Whatever. I'm sketchily setting outside your building, right? One of my favorite, I don't know if Sadie Baker's still on here, but Sadie Baker made me this homemade reindeer at Christmas. And so I'm pretty sure she hadn't watched when I got off my set, but she's a little weird. But they make these homemade things every Christmas, and so it meant so much to me that they made me this reindeer. And she's like, "Go out on your porch, I got you something." And so there's this little janky broken reindeer that's just looking up at me. And so it was predominantly displayed on my fireplace like all season long. And my mother walked in and my mother walked in and she said, "Which one of your kids made you that?" Like it had a student made me this written all over it. Okay, I tried messaging earlier in the video and it isn't going through Monday and Tuesday. Okay. I'm cool with it. Look, if we just need to hang out every day this summer and be like, "What's up?" we can do that. So I got faith in you. I got faith in you. I got faith in you. And I'm going to get to see you tomorrow, and I'm so excited about that. I guess I'll post our plans on Google Classroom in case the people who aren't logging in don't know. But you may want to tell the people that you like that aren't on here what's going on so that they'll know as well. And then I'll try to post it on Google Classroom. We'll just see what we got, right? All right. Fam, then I'll see you Saturday at 11 to 12. I'm going to post some videos here in a little bit. I think I'm going to take a bath, try to scrape the nasty off myself. I haven't even eaten today. That's a lie. I ate a Pop-Tart this morning. I apologize. Haven't had lunch, though. So I'm going to take a bath, and then I bought this glider off of the Facebook, and I'm going to go to Madisonville. I'm going to get a glider. So, there you go. So having said all of that, you don't have faith in you. Well, that's because you're too nervous. But you're going to do fine, Logan. I mean, I hope you do better on the AP exam than you've done taking care of your teeth. Because let's face it, that has been a poop show. You get to keep your braces now. Just glad they let you on the internet, Logan. All right. Well, family, as always, we're almost there, man. Praying for you. I'm praying for you. Every day it gets closer. I'm praying a little harder. I hope that's not a sign that I don't have faith in you. I just pray that it's something good, that we've worked so hard. You guys have worked so hard. Good things are going to come. Your efforts are going to be rewarded. I just know it. All right, fam. Love you.